They ain't gonna get us, folks. They ain't gonna get us. I'm here to tell those of you that are watching today, you are at the right place at the right time. The elite of this world, the wealthy, the people that are in control or want to be in control, want you to sell your crypto. Folks, they ain't gonna get us. We just have too much belief. We know where we're going. If you've been a part of this YouTube channel for a while, you know that 1% doubt will take you out. Folks, you cannot afford to have any doubt as to where this cryptocurrency market is going, as to where blockchain technology is heading, how it's going to revolutionize the world. It's going to take over. You know, I've said this 1,000 times, but folks, we're using things all over our house right now, and we don't even really understand the technology behind it, but we're using it. And that's going to happen with blockchain technology. So much of the things that we're going to be using it for, we might not even understand that blockchain technology is what is running it. But folks, it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. And so one of the most important things that I can try to give you today is some hope. If you're looking at these charts and you're looking at this Bitcoin chart and just going down, down, down. I mean, it had a little bit of an uptrend here, but like you're trying to figure out when is the bleeding going to stop. You know, nobody knows when the bleeding is going to stop. But I read something this morning that I thought was pretty cool. Every storm runs out of rain. I like that. I thought that was a pretty cool little quote. Every storm runs out of rain. And folks, these guys that are manipulating the markets and that are driving it down, that are trying to shake out retail, at some point in time, they're going to run out of rain. On the flip side, they also are going to want to make some massive profits and stuff themselves. So I'm still all in on the fact that we are in for some incredible times. And it's really, in my opinion, in the very near future. And what do I mean by the very near future? Like literally any day now. It could be a day, it could be a week, it still could be a month. But in my opinion, over the next 2-3 months, we're going to see some tremendous upside in the markets. Now, folks, that is not financial advice. I am just a human being. I'm a guy that got involved in crypto 7, 8, 9 years ago, and I've gone through these storms many, many times in my cryptocurrency journey. So it gives me, I'm a little bit more prepared to deal with them in some ways. And I also, having experienced a few of these market cycles now, I understand what times like these are like. I've been through them before. And so, but that doesn't mean that things can't change. Is it possible that Bitcoin runs down into the 60s? And that we never see 100,000 again during this cycle? Anything is possible. So I want you guys to be smart, and I want you to play the long-term game. I want you to be okay no matter what happens with the markets. You know, the good news is most of us, even me, I'm 51 years old, and I was looking forward to having, you know, multiple millions of dollars towards the peak of this bull cycle, which I believed was going to be sometime in the next handful of months. And if I don't get there, then I have no doubt that by the time the next cycle rolls around, by the time 28, 29, 30 rolls around, that adoption will come into play and that we will be in a position where we probably have more money in 2030 by 4 or 5 times than we would have had. Hey, enough of that racket over there, doggies. We're going to have more money if that happens in 2030, probably than we would have had if it happened now. Although that's, I mean, maybe that's not true, because if you take the money that you make in this bull market and responsibly, you know, hold it and wait for the retracements and then buy back in cheap, and then ride it back up in 2030. Oh, come on. Royal Flush. Yeah, one of my dogs is Royal Flush. I'm a poker player. I love poker. This was the very first dog that I ever got on my own as an adult. And he's about a little over 10 years old now. And I named him Royal Flush. You know what can I say? I'm from Vegas. I love Vegas. I love poker. I named my dog Royal Flush. The only trouble is I got lots of dogs in my future, and I'm trying to figure out what in the world do you name the next one when you named the first one Royal Flush. There's like no place to go. The Royal Flush is the best hand in poker. But anyways, what I'm trying to say, folks, is, let's stay positive and let's be excited about the future. Most of us and most of you watching this channel are younger than me. So if you're, 25, 35, 45, and even if you're my age, 50, 55 years old, 4 or 5 more years ain't going to kill you. I mean, it sucks. I agree. Like, I want you to be able to go tell your boss that you can't afford to work for him anymore in 2025. But if it does take until 2029, 2030, most of you is still way, way, way better than the 40-40-40 plan where you'd be working a job. In fact, these days in the United States, I don't even think if you're like 25, 30, 35 years old, I don't think you can retire anymore until you're like 70. As far as like getting Social Security, that might not be perfect. Let me see here. I want to make sure my wife is going to be coming back here in a minute. I don't know if she's warning me or not, because when she comes back, the dogs are going to go a little crazy. But anyways, that wasn't her. But what was I saying? Oh, man, I hate it when I get distracted like that. Oh, yeah, just, kind of going back to the age thing, like there's some incredible opportunity in the markets right now. Once again, I mean, I'm just going to, I'll get on to the next topic. But for those of you that are a little scared, a little bit nervous, like I was watching Sammy Price, Crypto Lifer, a little bit earlier, and here's his thumbnail in great big bold letters said, "They want you to sell." And I'm just here to tell you that is the truth, that the elite and, the wealthy, they want to gobble up as much of these assets as they can. They want to get as much of it out of our hands and into theirs as possible, because they know what is coming over the next handful of years in the next decade or two. I mean, like, there's only 21 million Bitcoin ever going to be made. And these guys would love to own every single one of them if they could. They really would, so that they could just totally control the supply, control the demand, control the price. And folks, we can't let them have it all. We got to keep some for ourselves. But, so with that, folks, I hope you all are doing good. We got the whole gang is out here today, man. All of the ride or dies. Good morning, John, John Magpally. How you doing today? Hope you are doing fantastic. We got Mr. Dave P in the house. Chucks, hello. Hope you are doing fantastic. Eric Bernstein, thank you for being here. We've got a Dana in the house. Welcome. Hey, I love that, Dave. Thank you so much for reminding everybody to smash that like button on the way in. We got Tim G. Is it still afternoon for you, even with the time change? Are you sure? I guess it could be. If you're East Coast, it would have been noon when we started. So I guess we'll let you get away with good afternoon, Tim. Thank you for being here, Mr. Deadwood. Good morning, all. And then we got Mr. Pablo Noodles. Hello. So life is good, man. All of some of my favoriteest people in the world here with me this morning. Folks, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about anything different than what I've mentioned in the past when it comes to trading. But I do want to show you guys some of the opportunities that are on my mind. So we're going to run over here to CoinGecko. Something that is, really important is if we can find bottoms and tops, then my strategy does extremely well. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, let's say that we've got a token that's going to run from 50 cents on the bottom to $1 at the top. If it's at 75 cents, my strategy is subpar at best. I'm willing to admit where its weaknesses are. If it's got, 25 cents to move up or 25 cents to move down, and we don't know which direction it's going to go, then we're just kind of speculating and we're trying to get lucky. And yeah, with my ladder system, you can give yourself, you know, some distance between liquidation. But folks, the fact of the matter is, where this really shines is when the market is bottomed out, or when the market peaks. And you know, some of you like Pablo Noodles, who took advantage of these strategies. You know, one of the things I love about Paul is, you know, when we first started talking about these strategies way back in September, you know, he got some trades in, and I don't know if he's continued to let it run or not, but like he's got an HBAR trade in that he got in at such a beautiful price that even with all of these retracements, I'm guessing he's still got to be up, you know, probably in the ballpark, I'm guessing 200 to 300%, 250% with 10x leverage. You know, that's still 250, 300, or, you know, that would be, you know, a 20x or something like that, 15x, I don't know. But my point is he got in back in September. And what I kind of want to point out here is if we look at some of the prices of these tokens and what they were back in September, we can see that a lot of these tokens, in my opinion, are relatively close to bottoming out. So now I want to show you the difference between a token that's ready, that, you know, potentially is bottomed out, and one that I think is a little bit more risky. So I do want to go over that. I think that there's definitely tokens that are better for my strategy than others. And we want to find the tokens that are as close to the bottom or even under, you know, under the bottom of where they've been over the last 3 months, 6 months, year, handful of years. And so like Cardano here, folks, as much as I love Cardano, because remember this trading, we're looking to make money with the trading. So we don't really care what coin we're trading. Let's say that you love Solana and you think Solana is going to $1,000 and you want to have a lot of Solana. That's a great plan. Like, say you love Solana, I'm not, you know, that's fine. But if your choice is to put a trade in on Solana and you think that it's got the potential to go from where it's at here at, you know, $118, $120 to $1,000, you know, you think it's got an 8x in it. Fair enough. That's great. If you do a long on it with 10x leverage and it goes up it goes up from 120 to 1,000, you know, that's 800% times 10x leverage. You're going to make about an 80x on that. And that's amazing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. But if you've got a token that is, say, like Polygon Matic, that is sitting down at 20 cents, and it looks like, you know, there's no reason, in my opinion, that it won't reclaim its previous all-time high of $3. Well, that's a 15x to get from 20 cents to $3. And there's some real possibility with Solana. Its all-time high was 250 in the last bull market. So in order for it to hit 1,000, it's got to do a 4x previous over and above its all-time high. Where with Matic, if Matic just doubled and went to $6, well, now you're looking at what, a 30x to get from 20 cents to $6 would be a 30x times the 10x leverage would give you a 300x. And so all I'm simply saying is put the trade in on Matic, and then use it to buy the Solana as it goes up and you cash out profits. Then, you know, maybe buy the Solana. Anyways, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what makes sense to you with your strategy, with your risk management. This is not financial advice. But in my opinion here, the reason that Cardano is a token that I would be a little bit scared of is if we go here. So we're looking at the max chart here right now, but if we just go to the 1 year, if we can get it to switch here. So if we can go to the 1 year chart, you guys can see here that back on November of 2024, this thing was all the way back at, 33 cents, hung out right in here for a lot of the bear market down in this 40 cent range, 30 to 40 cent range. It's still at 71 cents. So in my opinion, if Bitcoin does go from this 81,000-ish that it's at right now, and it does decide to go down and do a full 40% retracement, and it goes down to, you know, say 66, 67, 65,000, Cardano is a token that's got a lot of room to go down before it could, you know, potentially be seen as bottoming out. Now, with some of the news and Charles Hoskins being, you know, kind of in with the United States and a few of those things, you might say, hey, it's never going back, you know, to this price that it was at here. It's never going back down to this, you know, 30-cent price. And you might be right. But for me, when I'm looking to just trade, like if you want to buy Cardano spot because you believe that Cardano has a lot of room to run and is going to be a great token, fantastic. I'm all for it. Buy it. But if you're looking to trade with leverage and you're trying to maximize your wins, then personally, I would skip over Cardano and I would go to some other tokens. And that's kind of what this show is going to roughly be about, is just me showing you a handful of the tokens that I'm keeping a really close eye on and that I am trying to get some money together. Like, this has been a rough time for all of us. You guys realize, like, the YouTube channel during these times, it's rough for me too. You know, I've got employees and I've got other things going on. I've got a lot of outflow. And when the markets are like this, you know, the sponsors dry up. There's a lot of companies that when Bitcoin's at 108, 110, 120, you know, people that want to sponsor the channel, projects that want to, you know, get out in front of the community and stuff. Right now, when it's like this, everybody is hibernating. Everybody is going inside of their little turtle shell and afraid to stick their head out. So like right now, I've got some plays that I would like to make, but I'm working on some things and acquiring some capital so that I can make these. But folks, if you've got some money sitting on the sidelines, if you're prepared and ready to take advantage of this dip, then these are some of the things that I would be very, very much looking at. So we're going to scroll down through here, and I've got a handful of tokens that are a little bit further down the list. So like HBAR, I just want to go over this one more time. Hedera, HBAR is another token that I think is going to do absolutely amazing. But when you scroll out here and you look at this one-year chart, see, this is kind of where Paul was probably getting in on this thing here back in September, October, when this thing was 4 or 5 cents. And so it's still at 20 cents. It's 4 or 5, you know, 4x where it was just a few months ago. I don't know that HBAR is ever going to run back that far, but at the same time, it's got a potential to run down back to some of these prices. And even if it just went from this 19, 20 cent range back to, you know, 15 or even 10 cents, that would be a little bit hard on the ladder system. You would really have to have some good ladders in if this thing were to go all the way back to, say, 10 cents. Now, once again, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not saying that I think that is going to happen. I'm just saying that I think there's less riskier plays when it comes to the trading that I like to do. So, you know, one other one. So like Chainlink here, if you go to Chainlink and you look at the one-year chart on it, you can see back here in, you know, not that long ago, November, this was 10. And if we go back just a little bit further, it seems like I thought we saw some $6 or $7 Chainlink. Maybe that was all the way back in 2023. So this one, you kind of see like maybe this is pretty well bottomed out. And even during the worst part of the bear market, like, so we go back here, we can see, yeah, if we go here, so August of 2023, it was down at around $6. But if you look at this thing, go all the way basically back to the last bull market. This is still this is it peaked here. This is in 2021 when it peaked, you know, May of 2021, where it peaked at over 50. And then all of this was as we started to get down into the bull. And you can see here, like December of 2021, it was still 20 bucks. That was kind of as we started the decline. But my point is, you can see way back here, it dropped all the way down to $6 in May of 2022, and it never really did much worse than that. So this thing could have a little bit of room to go down, but if you look at the last year, like we just were, around $10 is the low point. So Chainlink is one that I think has got some incredible, massive upside. And so Chainlink is one that I would be looking at, but even Chainlink would not probably be one of my favorites, but I think that I would like Chainlink better than Cardano. And, HBAR, even though it's gone up, 400% compared to the bottom during the market, I'd be relatively comfortable putting in a trade on HBAR right now, because I do think HBAR has a long ways to go up. I think HBAR could be, a $3, $4, $5 token towards the peak of this bull market. So I like the fact that we're talking, if it gets to $3, that's a 15x times the 10x leverage would be 150x. If it gets to $5, that's a 25x times the 10x leverage would be a 250x, and so on and so forth. So I think that the risk reward on something like HBAR is there, but I do want to get, so a couple of my favorite tokens right now. And, this is another one that I want to, like if you look at the max chart here, you go all the way out. This thing was down at 63 cents in August of 2024. But if you go out to, say, November, right here in November, there we go. So November, it was $1.91. So if you go back just into November, it's basically kind of bottomed back out into, the November numbers. And then it also, if you look at it, it's already, was at over $5.35. So it could over double, fairly quickly when this market returns. And this is, a big cap token where you don't have to worry about it going to zero. And so this could have some tremendous upside and could potentially be a good spot and a good one to, maybe look at doing some trading. I think it's a really good token to do some spot trading on, and, or, not trading, but just spot buys and building a bag of it up. But I keep getting distracted on the way down. Let me just get all the way down here. So I'm going to go over about 3 tokens that I think are my absolute favorite plays. And I'm just going to do them, like pretty much in the order. So in my opinion, one of my favorite tokens to do this with right now, and I'm frustrated because yesterday this thing was down at 20 cents. And love you, son. Have a good day, buddy. At 20 cents. At 20 cents, it wasn't that much better of a deal than 21 cents, but at the same time, I kind of had a feeling, because if you look at this thing on this max chart, look at this. This is its max chart, guys. When was the last time this thing was below 20 cents? So this cannot be its max chart, because it was all the way down at penny. Oh, that's right. You gotta go to the other Polygon to see the right chart. So the Polygon before it switched to this Xmatic. So this is the max chart here. So you can see this thing was all the way down in 2020. This thing was down at 2 cents. But as I mentioned, it went all the way up in 2021 to over $3. I'm not getting it quite right, but it went to $3. You can see its all-time high here. Well, it's $2.92. So it's down 92% from its all-time high. But if you look at this chart, when was the last time we saw it down here at 21 cents? Like, I can't find another spot. You guys can maybe your eyes, but my eyes do not deceive me. This here is the lowest that it's been. If we go all the way back, this is the next place where it comes down close. Right here on June 16th of 2022, it's telling me that it was down at roughly 20 cents, or excuse me, 34 cents. I can't even get, right in the ballpark of about 34 cents right there. Other than that, when do we see it at 20 cents? The last time that it was under 20 cents was way back here on its climb from, some of its all-time lows at 2 cents. And then you can see here in March of 2021, it was 21 cents. But by May of 2021, it was $2.50 going on $3. And so to me, Like if I had to just pick out one token to just ride all the way through this bull market when it comes to doing leverage trading, Matic would be one of my favorite tokens. You know, I believe that Polygon Network, is going to do amazing things. It's long term, it's got longevity, and it's going to, in my opinion, it's going to be a token that reclaims and surpasses its previous all-time high in this bull market. And so this is one of the top ones for me, because like I said, if it just goes from 20 cents to back to $3, you're looking at a 15x with 10x leverage. You're looking at about 150x on your money. So if you had, $500 put into a trade on this, you could legitimately have a very realistic possibility of turning 500 into 75,000 potentially. So this is one of my favorite tokens. Another token I've been talking a lot about lately is Atom, Cosmos. And man, this thing, if you look at Atom right now, it's another one that I think it would be fantastic to spot buy some of it and get it staked at the 15% on Coinbase. But the other thing would be, what an incredible spot to potentially trade this thing on 5 or 10x leverage. So once again, we go out, this is the max chart. Look at this. When was this thing down at $3.78? It just hasn't been. Like, we go back to here. This is June 15th of 2022. It was a $6 token. And you go all the way through all these little peaks, $7 here, down in here. It was in the $4, but this is the first time that it's been in the threes forever. We go all the way back here. We can see on March 23rd of 2020, it was $2.11. Hey there, beautiful. How you doing?
Good. I don't want to be in the camera.
No. All right. Her hair ain't fixed up quite good enough today, so she don't want to be on camera. Thank you for the coffee. Hey, I got my medicine, guys.
Where are the other dogs?
I don't know.
All I see is Valkyrie.
So this is another token that I'm super excited about. And this is one where I want to take the profits. If I can, this was a $50 token, guys. So it's definitely got our $45 token. It's got some significant room to move up. It can move up 10, 20, even 30x. I don't think that it would be absolutely crazy if Bitcoin goes back up to what I believe is going to be probably 175 to 250,000. This token could be a $100 token. This token could be a $125 token. And I've decided I want to own a nice bag of this token that's earning 14 or 15% and spitting off some cash flow to me. So if I can take this and get into a trade while it's under $4, and then, if I 10x the trade back to, $40, and then I 10x the leverage, so I get 100x on this, and then I take that and pour it into. So how many Cosmos is that? I'm just kind of curious. So if we were to get $1,000 in it, and $1,000 with a 10x back to $38 would be a 10x with 10x leverage. So $1,000 would turn into $100,000. And how many tokens can we buy at $100,000? So let's see here. We got $100,000 divided by, for easy math, we'll just say 40. That'd be 2,500 tokens. But guess what, guys? If I ride this thing up to $40 and I turn 1,000 into 100,000, I'm not buying Atom tokens at $40. I'm going to wait until we hit the peak of the bull market and it starts to come down. So all of a sudden, let's say that it comes back and it retraces even down to, say, $15. Well, at $15, 100 grand divided by 15, it's, almost, it's 6,700 tokens, right? 6,700 tokens, 6,700 times 14%. is 938 tokens. So if you divide that by 365, you're earning 2.56 tokens a day. Let's just say that this thing goes back down, just for, easy math, let's say that it just stays at right around that $15 a token. Well, at $15 a token, that's $45, or, $37.50 a day, $37.50 times 30. So you would have an extra $1,125 a month. And that's if it's at 15 bucks. And then, there's a lot of variables in there, but I'm going to have a bigger bag. I'm also buying spot, but I would like to get up to 100,000 Atom, which obviously right now would be about $400,000, but I'm hoping to trade back and forth and do some leverage, buy some spot, make some money in these trades. And I would like to get to 100,000 of these things, because I think I showed the math one time before, but at 100,000, obviously times 14%. And lately on Coinbase, it's actually been 15% or 15.2, 15.3. But even at 14%, that's 14,000 tokens a year divided by 365 days. That gives me 38 tokens a day. Day after day after day after day after day. So even at, $10 a token, that's 380 bucks a day, $383 a day times 30 is $11,500 a month. So if you owned $100,000, 100,000 Atom right now, you would be earning 14,000 new Atom a year. I mean, and even at this price, 38 times $3.80 is 144 a day, times 30 days is $4,332 a month right now. If you owned 100,000 Atom, it would make you $4,300 a month. That might not be enough for you guys to just, go quit your job. But man, if you had $4,300 a month coming in passive from this type of an investment, it would sure give you some freedom. It would give you some choices. And then, of course, I mean, like literally, you realize if you have 100, I'm kind of a math geek sometimes. If you realize if you had 100,000 of them right now, and you compounded your earnings instead of just spending it, so we'll just say that you don't even compound it. You just let it build up. So if you've got 100,000 Atom tokens, at the end of a year, you've got 114,000, right? So we're not even going to say that you did any compounding. You just now you've got 114,000. Is this right? Why 100? Why am I having so much trouble typing this into a calculator? 114,000, 114,000. There we go. Yeah, 114,000. So you got 114,000 of them after a year. Now, if you earn 14% on that times 14%, you would actually get 15,960 the next year. So 15,960 tokens, because now you're getting 14% on 114,000. So now we're going to add the 114 back into that. So after 2 years, you're up to 129,960 times 14% is 18,194 plus 129,960 equals 148,000 after 3 years. 148,000 times 14%, you're now up to over 20,000 tokens, 20,741 tokens, plus your 148, 154. You're up to 168,000 tokens, which then multiplied by 14% is 23,645 tokens, plus 168,895, 168,895. It takes you up to 192,000 tokens. So now let's just say that you're not in a hurry. You're happy to take your 100,000 tokens and compound them for the next 4 years. You're up to 192,000 tokens. And guess what 4 years from now is? The next bull market. So what is this token going to go to during the next bull market? I don't know. But let's just say that it went to 50 bucks. And so at 192,000 tokens times 14%, you're now earning 26,955. So we're just going to round that up to 27,000. 27,000 tokens a year times $50 is $1.35 million a year in passive income. 27,000 tokens divided by 365 days gives you 73 going on 74. It's 73.97. So 74 tokens a day. And if Adam is at 50 bucks, that's, excuse me, 74, times 50 is $3,700 a day in passive income times 30 days gives you $111,000 a month in passive income. And so, folks, I'm just trying to wrap your mind around some of the possibilities of what we can do now that it feels like we are getting to the bottom of this market, man. It's definitely an opportunity to do some incredible things and to make some incredible money. So as I mentioned, I don't have a ton of money. I don't have almost anything right now in BYDFI, but I do want to show you something there. But I also want to go over, another token that I think is got some amazing potential. So let's get back over here and go to Brad, learn how to spell, buddy. Aerodrome. So, folks, we've been talking about Aerodrome for a few months now on the channel, maybe even a year. But look at this thing, man. It was all the way up over $2 here just back in December. And it's come all the way back down here to 52 cents. This is tradable on BYDFI. And this is a token that I think, could be a $5 token, $10 token, $15, $20 token without it being that big of a stretch of the imagination. Folks, the base network is growing in leaps and bounds. It's backed by Brian Armstrong and Coinbase. I believe that it's going to be one of the big winners in the next upcoming decades and even in this bull run. And so for this token to run up and do another 10, 15, 20x, in my opinion, is very, very doable. And, and it's another token that I really like. It's another token that you could be making money on. I know that old Deadwood here has, been providing some liquidity and earning himself some Aerodrome in their liquidity pools, as have I. Guys, I started those 3 liquidity pools probably pretty close to a year ago. Maybe it was a little over a year ago. Maybe it was around May of last year when I started providing liquidity. I've never taken that liquidity out. I've been earning free Aerodrome every day for the last year through those liquidity pools, and they're still going. One of the liquidity pools, I just pulled out, 20 Aerodrome yesterday. It'd been building up for a little bit, but, I pulled out 20 Aerodrome yesterday. Not that big of a deal. 20 Aerodrome at 50 cents, 10 whole bucks. But as this thing becomes a $5, $10, $20 token, that becomes a little bit more fun. And over the course of the last year, I've pulled out several hundred Aerodrome from those liquidity pools. But this is another one that I think would be, interesting to look at. Part of the reason I like this one is because of the volatility. This thing goes up and down fast. So if we feel like it's bottomed out, and you can see here, 52 cents. If we go here, it's 50 cents. And we go even way, way, way back here into July of 2024, it was down at about 20 cents. Well, man, it's hard to get this thing right. I thought I just saw 19. That's showing 42 cents. Maybe I missed it. So, 42 cents. So could it have a little bit of a, little ways to go down maybe? But, we can see here, we get all the way back. This is back in here was before anybody started promoting it. This is before I started talking about it, before Crypto Lifer started talking about it. This is when it really started getting talked about by the influencers back in this area. So ever since it started getting talked by the influencers and we had this October to February run up, it's definitely 50 cents feels like it has been the bottom. And then two others that I want to go over real quick. Also in tribute to Deadwood, Ondo is another one that I know that Deadwood is really excited about and believes is going to be massive RWA token during this bull run. And, if we go back here, obviously it's got a long ways to go down if it wanted to, but I think Deadwood would probably agree that this token being an RWA and with the partnerships that it has and with everything that it's got going on, it's probably relatively close to a bottom. It could go down a little bit more, but we're never going to see 8 cent Ondo. We're not going to probably see 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 cent Ondo. Could it go down to 55, 65 cents potentially? But this is another one that I feel like is probably pretty bottomed out. And it's down 61%. If this thing, catches fire, it'll rock. This was December 16th. January, February, March, it hasn't even been 3 months and it was $2 back, on December 16th. So this thing, when it catches fire, is going to rocket ship back up. This thing will go, if you just go back here, look at this. This is, I want to see if we can look at like the 3-month chart, if I can get it to switch here for me. So look at this, folks. It was down right here. It dropped all the way down to 90 cents on March 4th. And then boom, just in a couple of days, it was all the way back up at $1.17. That is a nice win. You realize 10% of 90 cents is 9 cents. So for it to go from 90 cents to $1.17, that was a 20%, over a 20% going on a 30% little run up. That means that if you would have been long in this thing with 10x leverage, you would have had an opportunity to take out, 300% profit. If you would have had a $500 trade in on this at 10x leverage, it would have rocketed up and been worth, $1,500, $2,000 on you in just a handful of days. I believe that this thing, once we get a little bit of bullishness in the market, this is going to be a token that has a massive flip and could run from this 75, 80 cent range all the way back up, to $1.20, $1.50, $2, very, very quickly. If it runs from 80 back to $2, that's 250% times 10x leverage. You're looking at a 30x. So this is another one. And then last but not least, my baby. I know everybody love it or hate it, but Polkadot is one of the tokens that I think does very, very well when it comes to this leverage. And I kind of wish, you can just see just over the last little while, unfortunately, I didn't catch it. I wanted to catch it and I just didn't. But you can see it came all the way down to $3.74 here. For any of you that have paid attention to these streams, that I've gone back through and shown you historically where the lowest price that I could find for the last several years for Polkadot was like $3.67. So in my opinion, this thing is very, very close to have bottomed out. Now, obviously, from $4 to $3.60 is what? 10% would be 40 cents. So I guess, it could retrace 10% from this $4 back to $3.60. But this is another one that I think is super, super low. And the other thing that I really like about it is you can see that when the markets recover, whatever you think about Polkadot and its ecosystem, this token does very well. This token was up over $9 just back on December 11th. If you go back to the 1-year chart, you can see, here on December 5th, it was up closer to showing 10 there, but it actually peaked out at more like between 11 and 12, I think. I could be wrong about that, but this is another token where from 4 back up to 10, I think will happen, relatively quickly. Deadwood is saying that we have mined 19.9 of the 20 million. Correct. But obviously there's still some out there on the open market. There's some, you can still go buy it on Mexi Global or KuCoin or wherever. There's a million places, Coinbase, you can still buy Bitcoin. And my point is that at some point in time, that 19.9 million could very well be in wallets that are never planning on letting go of it, or at least not until it's 5, 10, 20, 30 million dollars a token. I mean, folks, I've always been a huge proponent of altcoins and not wanting to invest money into Bitcoin, because in order to get rich now, I feel like Bitcoin is not the best vehicle. And while I think that there is a lot of truth in that, as I've gotten older and become a little bit more experienced, I also see a lot of wisdom in the get rich slow while you're getting rich quick. And so I was listening to a YouTube video yesterday where I think get rich fast, build wealth slow was the slogan. And I really liked the point. This gentleman said, hey, you want to get rich as fast as you can because life is short. So he got rich when he was in his 40s. And the only thing that he really regrets about his life is that he didn't get rich quicker. If he could go back and talk to his 20-year-old self, is that he says that he wishes he was in a bigger hurry to get rich so he could enjoy it. He's 63 now and doesn't know how long he's going to be on this planet. I mean, he's in good shape. He's in good health. But his point is, and I like this point too, he says it's easier to make a lot of money fast than it is to make a little bit of money slow. And I see a lot of value in that. And even if that sounds backwards to you and you don't believe it, I would recommend that you maybe flip your mindset around. Because if you believe it's easier to make a lot of money fast than it is to make a little bit amount of money slow, you have a much higher chance of making a lot of money fast. If you don't believe it's possible to make a lot of money fast, then you're never gonna. So I believe it's possible to make a lot of money fast. I saw my bank accounts back in 2020 go from very, very little, almost bankrupt. Yeah, I had bought some crypto. I had some assets, but they were down. I mean, like literally, if I would have wanted to sell cash out and like just liquidate my whole crypto portfolio, I would have maybe had $20,000 or $25,000 to my name. And all of a sudden, by May of 2021, that was worth closer to, $1 million. I 40x'd roughly 50x'd my portfolio in about 4 or 5 months back during the last bull run. So now I know that I spent some time in 18, 19, and 20 educating myself and building it up. But still, like, how many of you feel like it would be relatively fast to make $1 million in 4 years? I think that a lot of people would consider that to be fast. It's not supersonic fast, but it's fast enough. I mean, it gets you there, and that's what we're trying to do here in crypto. So anyways, though, his point was get rich fast and then build wealth slow. And what he means by wealth is in the Bible, it says, leave an inheritance for your children's children. And so he wants to have so much money by the time he dies that his grandchildren can't spend it, that his grandchildren can't spend it. And I love his philosophy. He's not saying that he doesn't want them to work and doesn't want them to be productive human beings. He's just saying that he wants to give his family a head start. He wants to be able to have his family have a house when they get to adult age and a little bit of money to get them started. It's definitely not, riches that's going to make them lazy, worthless humans. But I think it's a pretty cool concept that he wants to have so much money that all of his children's children as they become adults, have a house and a little bit of money. And one of the things that he's doing to accomplish that is he's taking his lot of money, his riches, where he's making millions of dollars a month now, but almost all of those millions are going into investments. He's not spending the money. It's going into investments and real estate and things that are going to perpetuate his wealth. So I like his saying, build riches fast, create wealth slow. The other thing that he mentioned that I thought was important, folks, is all our lives we've been taught to beware of the get rich quick scheme. And I believe after listening to this man and thinking about it, chewing on it for a little while, I believe that that is bad advice. Now, take this with a grain of salt. Folks, there's a lot of get rich quick scams out there for sure. There is a huge amount of get rich quick schemes out there that are absolute garbage, that are going to drain your bank account. And if you keep getting sucked into them, they are going to make it near impossible for you to create riches in your life and wealth. But folks, there's a lot of things that help you to get rich quick where they're not schemes. Like he went through, let's just say that you've got a $10,000 business right now. He's got a 4-step method that will help you 12.8x that business. And I can't go through all of the steps right now, and I don't even remember them. I've listened to them a couple of times, but it's relatively simple stuff. Like you literally go from $10,000 a month in your business to $20,000 a month by doubling the amount of leads that you have. You know, so if you're in real estate making $10,000 a month, and let's just say, for instance, that you get 10 new people a month that want to work with you in real estate, whether they want to list a house with you or you're trying to sell them a house, you know, you're taking them around and showing them houses. You know, this is just a crude example, but you know, you could own a plumbing business. You could own a landscaping business. It all works. It's pretty easy to figure out how many people come into your business a month that create that $10,000 a month in income. So all you have to do if you want to double from 10,000 to 20,000 is double the amount of people that you're getting to talk to about your business every month. And he goes into some of the strategies. Social media. I mean, right now in this day and age, I'm kind of getting off topic, but if you own a business and if you're not building a brand, then I would highly suggest that you consider doing that. Like, you know, Eric, I don't know what you do on social media, but I guarantee you, Eric, if you started building a brand, started doing some little short videos, some reels on Instagram, and started building up your Instagram, and you kind of became the expert in your area, and you were putting out content that helped people, that could help you explode your real estate, you know, business. But anyways, so now you double the amount of leads you get, which obviously is going to double the amount of revenue that you have. So you just doubled from 10,000 to 20,000. Now you get better. So every single one of us that owns a business is a salesperson in some way, but most of us can get better. So let's just say that right now you've got those 10 leads and you're only selling, say, 1 or 2 of those leads, whatever it is that you sell, and that generates your $10,000 in income. Well, if you can go out and become a better salesperson, a better persuader, and now you can double the amount of people that you sell. So instead of selling 2 out of 10, you're selling 4 out of 10. Well, now that's going to double again. So you now just doubled your number of people that you were talking to, doubled you from 10 to 20. And now because you got better at selling, you doubled your 20 to 40. Well, how many of you would be excited and could just stop right there? Like if you just took your $10,000 a month business and turned it into $40,000 a month, that would be life changing. Well, folks, I'm not going to give the rest away, but there's 2 more strategies where you can take it from 40 to 80, and then from 80 to 128, taking $10,000 to $128,000 a month. And that's not a get rich quick scheme, but it sure is a get rich fast, way faster, because you can implement all 4 of these things in the matter of 6 months to a year, probably, in your business. So I would say that going from $10,000 a month to $128,000 a month is a pretty massive jump in income, and I would call that getting rich quick. So with that, folks, I hope that you got a little bit of value out of today. I really enjoyed being here with you, and man, I wanted to get this over with, but I do want to show you something here really quick. So for those of you that are wondering what in the world is this stupid Varnell trading system that he's talking about, I want to just give you a quick idea. So we talked about Matic. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to find Matic Polygon, actually, here at 21 cents. And I know that this is going to seem like a silly example because I think I have like a whopping whole 16 bucks or something like that in this account, but I'm going to move over all $16 to this account. And I just want to show you guys the power of this trading system. So we're just going to go in, we're going to double check, make sure here that we are on 10x isolated leverage, which we are. You can double check that right here. You've got the slider bar, so we're on 10x leverage, and we're not going to mess around trying to catch like the lowest price. It's at 21.16 right now. We're going to do, you know, like $15 here. We're going to hit long, and boom, let's see if that executes. Yeah, so just like that, we're in it. We got this $15 trade in here on Polygon. Now, what I want to show you guys is this is on 16 bucks, right? So if we go over here to the take profit stop loss, I want to show you, I told you that this could be a $3 token, in my opinion, very easy, right? So if this goes up to 3 bucks, I just turned $16, $15 into $1,979, folks. Multiply that by 10. $15 would only be a $150 trade. If you put $150 in right now at this 21 cents, and this thing goes up to $3 over the next handful of months, you have turned $150 into over $19,000. Let's just say that my craziness and my prediction of this doubling its previous all-time high and going to $6 came to fruition. $4,100 for 15 bucks. $4,100 for $15. And if you have more money and you went in and did a $150 trade, this would be $41,000 off of $150. Now, folks, one of the cool things is if you really want to be low risk and not give yourself a chance to get liquidated, because you can see here, it shows right here, liquidation, $19.18. But folks, we just went through the chart and showed you that this hasn't been down into the 19 cents since 2020, before the last bull market. So I think we're at a pretty close bottom. But let's just say that this thing was going to go all the way back. Let's just say that it was going to go back to 15 cents. So what would it take to keep this trade from getting liquidated back at 15 cents? Well, if we've got a trade in and the next liquidation here is at $19.18, we would go put in another trade for about double the amount of money. So in this case, I'd go back this up with about a $30 or $40 bill at about 19.25 cents. Now, 19.25 is a little bit, it's 1.9 cents. Call it, just for easy math, we'll call it 2 cents. So from 19.25 down to 17.25 roughly would be the next liquidation point. Probably be a little bit higher than that, but for rough math. So now we would go down and maybe put $100 trade in at 17 0.5, we'll call it. So 17.5. So we got a $15 trade right here, and then we're going to do another $30, $40 if it goes to 19.25, and then we're going to do about $100 if it goes down to 17.5. Well, 17.5 would be 1.75 cents. 1.75 from 17.5 would take us down to what, 15.75? So we could get all the way back to 15.75 with literally about $150. And this $15 little trade that nobody thinks has any significance has the potential to put $4,100 in your pocket. $4,100. Let's just say that I'm an idiot and this thing never gets back up there. But I want to, like, look at this, guys. This is important for you to understand. If you go to Polygon and you pull this up here, it was literally just back here in December, a 75, or yeah, closing in on 75 cents. And if we go back, I guess I shouldn't have picked this one. This one only goes back. It doesn't go back far enough. I want the one that has the whole chart. But if you go back here, a year, go back here to the max, you can see right here, it was on March 24th of 2024. So just under a year ago, this thing was at $1.25. So if I'm wrong about it getting to $3, fine. But I guarantee you it's getting back up to $1.25. So that's come on. So 1.25, that would still turn $15 into $737, guys. So how many times do you need to turn a $15 bill into $737 to make a significant move in your life, wealth needle wise? Like, I almost hope this thing retraces because I'm going to get a hold of some more money. And if I get a chance to put in $30 or $40 at 17.5, and then if it came all the way back to 15 or something, and I get to put in 100 or two at 15 something, imagine how much that $150 or $200. And now instead of having a 21 cent average, my average is all the way down to say 17, 18 cents. Now when it goes back up. So that is the power of a trade like this. So not financial advice, guys, but if I were you and I had some money sitting on the sidelines, I would highly consider, looking into this strategy and make up your own mind. Go look at Matic yourself. Go look at, Aerodrome. Go look at Polkadot. Go look at Atom, go look at Polygon and Atom yourself. But to me, these are very high reward, plays. You could say that they have high risk too, but I don't know how high the risk is. Like literally, if you don't want to say you don't want to back up your trades, you just want to, if this thing goes back to $17 or 17.5 cents, you just want to lose or I guess it's 19.25 here. This thing goes back to 19.25. You're just going to let it go. Okay. So now at 19.25, you put in another $15 trade and it goes back to 17.5 and you let it go. Now you put in another $15 trade and it goes all the way down to 15. You let it go. You put another $15 trade. You're still only $60 into this thing. And even if you're doing $150 a pop, you lost 150. You lost 150. You lost 150. You put in 150 at 15 cents and boom, this thing rocket ships up. And we just showed you here that you were going to make on a $150 trade with your average cost being 21 cents, you were going to turn 150 into somewhere around $20,000 at a $3 Matic. Well, if you got 150 in at 15 cents instead of 21 cents, your profit when it gets up to $3 is going to be way more than the 20 grand. But let's just say that it wasn't even the 20 grand. Let's just say it was only 10 grand. You are still in this trade for $600 and you're cashing out 10 grand. That is still, pretty amazing. That's a 15x going on a 20x, even if the sky fell out of the market. So this comes back to bankroll management. If you got $500, don't go put $150 in on this trade. Go put in $25 or $50 on this trade, or whatever trade it is that you decide that you want to do. But you can see here, even with a $15 trade, and that's the other reason I love this, is because I have a lot of people on the channel that live in countries where $15 is a chunk. It's money. And you guys that are watching from some of these countries where, you know, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 is invaluable, you know, amount of money to you. You guys can start with $5 or $10, and it's the same ratio. Like, instead of a $15 trade being worth, you know, 20 grand, you could have a $15 trade being worth $4,000. You could have a $5 trade that would be worth a third of that. So what's a third of $4,000? 1,333. So can you imagine, folks, if you're sitting here watching this going, man, I wish I had more money. You realize that you can literally go do a $5 trade and have the potential to turn that $5 into $1,000+ And if you're in a position where $5, $10, $15 is meaningful to you, $1,000 is going to be a lot of money. And folks, once again, you can do this over, you know, spread it out over 3 or 4 or 5 tokens, pick out your favorites. But in my opinion, although I'm not thrilled that Bitcoin decided to go from 108 a couple of months ago all the way down to 78, and now it's at 80, I'm not thrilled about that. I'm not happy. I'm going to take advantage of the opportunities that it presents. And so hopefully this helped you guys make some money today. I know I was kind of all over the place in some ways, but hopefully you know, caught up with all of my thoughts that were going through my head, and this made some sense to you. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of dry powder sitting on the sidelines. And, you know, I would love some testimonies. So if any of you, you know, Dave, I know that you like to do some trading. Pablo, I know that you're doing some trading. I don't, you know, Deadwood, I think you stay away from this stuff, but, you know, Tim, Dave, Deadwood, any of you that are watching this video today, if you go in and decide to place any trades, you know, I would love to know about it. And once again, like, if any of you that are placing these trades have some input, want to give us some insight, I would love for any of you guys that are watching this to come on to the channel with me and, you know, hang out with me on one of these live streams for 10 or 15 minutes and just kind of tell us what your strategy is and how you've been implementing the things that you're learning from me. Even if, you know, like, you don't have to follow my system 100%, but even if you're just using bits and pieces of it, taking what you really like from what I'm doing and then adding in your own twists and turns, I would love that, because you guys probably know this better than I do. And so we might all be able to learn together. So if any of you want to hop on a channel for, you know, a minute or two, and folks, I understand, you know, wanting to be anonymous, like in this type of a situation, especially, I don't love projects that are anonymous. But if one of you guys wants to come on and you want to have your camera turned off because you don't want the whole world seeing your face, I 100% respect your privacy. And so if any of you haven't taken me up on my offer to come onto the channel because you've been a little bit leery of, you know, putting your face out there on the internet, no worries. We can set it up to where your camera's off. But I would love if any of you, you know, put in any trades. I'm going to try to get a hold of some cash and get a few of these trades in. And I'm hoping to be able to come back next week and show you how some of these trades are going. And I think that there's a good possibility if we can hit an uptrend. Like, I don't think Bitcoin, guys, is going to go from 81, you know, to 83. And then in a couple of weeks, it goes to 85. And then, you know, another month from now, it's at 87. I think that it's probably going to go up relatively violently when it decides to go back up. Like, all of a sudden overnight, it's going to jump from 80 to 90 and, you know, then to 93 and 95, and it'll be back up at 100 relatively quick. And you realize from 80 to 100 is a 25% jump in Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin goes back from 80 to 100, that means that a lot of these altcoins are probably going to go up. You know, it's really hard to tell. If Bitcoin ran from 80 to 100 fast, I see Matic as having the potential to jump right back up to 75, 80 cents. Boom. Like, so you're talking about a 4x on your money with a 10x leverage, you're talking about a 40x. That would be on a $100 trade. If so let me just here, I'll show you again here so you guys can see it with your own eyes. So we're on a $15 trade. If this thing just goes back up to 80 cents, we're turning $15 into 417. So what is that? 15 times 30 is 450. So a little under a 30x, just like that. So you literally, if you had $150 in on this trade, you would literally turn $150 into over $4,000, $4,500 on this run from 20 cents-ish up to 80 cents. And literally, guys, I think that can happen almost what is going to feel like overnight when the market turns around and rebounds. So with that, take everything that I said with a grain of salt. And, once again, yeah, I love these guys that are here for the giveaway. Yep, no giveaway. You're absolutely right. And in fact, I got good news for you. There ain't going to be a giveaway tomorrow, so don't waste your time coming tomorrow either. Oh, my goodness. We'll get rid of all of those people that are in it for the giveaway, and then we'll start doing the giveaways again, folks. I love doing the giveaways, and we will get back to them here one of these days, but I just got tired of all of the people like that are just here for the giveaways. So with that, folks, I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the Microcap Gem live stream. Until then, be safe, be smart, but be bold, be brave. Get out there and make it happen. Take care. Bye-bye for now.